Right, out and about for Nutrien Equine. Dave Moran, firstly, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks Paul, thanks for coming out.
Got some big news. You've got a lot of news happening left, right and centre, and we're going to, I suppose, get onto a few of those things as you've become an ambassador for Nutrien Equine, which is I think great. Brand sponsor. I'm not going to be the only bloke walking around with a vest and a hat on. That part's going to be key, and that's going to be exciting for Dave Moran.
Yeah, it should be really good. Yeah, no, it's a big thrill sort of thing to not only put Nutrien out there, but to try and get harness racing back up and going to where it should be.
It's a nice little fit because I think you've always had this professional image. Always marvel you've got white colours, which are going to possibly change. But it's a brave move to have white colours. But you always have them. You always have them smick. You have your gear smick. So it's a nice fit, and it's great that Nutrien and yourself have been able to come together, I suppose, and get the brand out there and consistently get that brand out there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I always try and present the horses well and the colours well and all that sort of thing. So hopefully we can do the same with Nutrien and get the brand out there and have it there for the future. You
purchased 5 horses last year, and there's some exciting news that Nutrien are actually going to have their own set of racing colours, which you'll be wearing, and I believe potentially 4 of those. We've got to sign off on one of those, whether it does or not, but those horses will race in the Nutrien colours predominantly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Spoke with Mark Barton yesterday, and everything got signed off there, and just got to design some colours. There'll be 2 sets made, predominantly in the green, white, and black. So they'll be really good, and throughout the season to come, the yearlings we purchase this year will all wear them colours if we can, and if the owners are happy with that. So it'll be really good. Yeah, it should be really good leading into the future.
Yeah, it will. I think it's exciting. I think brand awareness, I'm big on it. People know I put badging on everything I do, and some people I don't think like it, but I think it's a way of the future because it's a good way for sponsors to get their brand out there and keep publicising things properly. And we've got to reach another audience, which is what Nutrien bring, because I mean they're from a sport horse background, I suppose, predominantly. They've got one of the biggest sales in the world. They turned over $12 million last year, and it's an exciting company to be a part of. I love them. I think they're great to work with. They're very easy. They just say, Paul, go do this, and that's about as far as it goes. There's not a lot of pressure from behind the scenes with them, and I think that makes it key. How did you find the sales experience last year for a start?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, Paul. Everyone's been extremely approachable. Throughout the whole Nutrien mob, they've been great. It was good. It was different to what we've had in the past. They wanted it to be an event, and it was good. And I'm sure next year it's going to be even better again. It generally takes that year or two to really gel. But no, it was very bright. Looking forward, that's for sure.
A lot of people were blown away by the customer service, I suppose is the best way to put it. The amount of people on the ground, the signage, and that, it's just a different level, isn't it?
It was, yeah. No, it was great. It, like I said when I said before about it being everyone being very approachable, it was, it was different to how things can be at times. It was very easy, very accessible. So I'm sure it'll only get better.
I found it incredible. You talk to any of the people that were tied up with Nutrien, and they're just like, well, this is how it's done. and yet everyone that, from a harness point of view especially, but even Inglis, the guys at Inglis there, they were blown away by the signage, the banners, the way that they were doing it. They do that off the behind the scenes and the likes. They've got some huge, exciting announcements coming up as well for the race series in 2023. But just quickly, you purchased 5 horses last year. You bought the sale topper of the fillies. Firstly, the Captain Treacherous out of You Ask Ali for Lee and Alison Miles. How's she progressing and how's she coming along?
Yeah, really well, Paul. She's only just returned to work now for her second prep. She had 8 weeks off, and she just did out at Scottish Stewart's and filled out really well. She broke in really good. Doc Wilson broke her in and was really impressed with her. Had a little bit of attitude, but I think that just come down to, I think that was the only yearling that Lee and Alison prepared. So she was probably just a little bit spoilt, as you do. But she was really good. She broke in exceptionally well. So I know they're a long way off, but all things are looking positive, that's for sure.
they took a lot of pride in it. And Lee, if people aren't aware, Lee's the sort of person at one stage had about 30 horses in work. To devote time to one, I think was great. And they've actually committed to the sales next year as well. They've got a sweet Lou that's going through the sales, so she's going to be very, very well sought after. And I think there's suggestions there's an American Ideal, I think, the year after as well. So it's a great family as well. But you bought a few others from good families. Roger's Passion, left in Paris. And there's two others that have actually just left me. You might be able to help me out there. But how are they all coming along? Are they coming along nicely?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, the other two were a Rock and Roll Heaven from Malabar out of She's Magnetic. He broke in quite well. He was a quiet little fella and done everything right. He's the same, just returned to work. Also the same with the left in Paris, Well Said filly from the Lauriston camp. She was the same. She was only a cheapie sort of thing, but she broke in really good too. So at this stage, you can't really fault any of them just yet. But it's still a long way to go, and they've returned now to the second preps, and we'll probably know a bit more in another month or 5 weeks down the track.
The left in Paris filly I had a little bit to do with Lower Long Farms, because it was Northern Rivers. That's the reason to get that out there. Kath McIntosh as well. They prepared them for, but she was a nice filly. I got to do a lot of video work with her, and she was just a lovely filly. And I was surprised that she actually was so cheap. Yeah.
It's I've sort of had a little bit of luck going to the sales in the previous years. Sort of getting a couple of them cheapies and sort of doing a good job with them. So generally every year we try and look for one, and Kevin Gordon's daughter and son-in-law, they were sort of looking to purchase one that wasn't too overly priced, and I sort of set the budget around 30 for her. I thought she was a good type of filly and from a good family, and I think we ended up purchasing her for about 15,000. So extremely cheap when you think your Vic Bred bonus is 12,000 for your first win.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that was one of the great parts about it. The race series has been announced, and it's for 2023 season. So the race series will be in Sydney next year, but for the 2023 season, so horses sold in the 2022, lots of twos, very, very hard. I'll tell you, false teeth, no good at all. There are lots of twos involved, but there's going to be $925,000 in stake money on offer for that race series that will be conducted in Melbourne, which is going to be key. And it'll be the richest trotting sales series we have, which is $375,000. It's enormous for a company that's only been involved in harness racing for 1 year. That'll be their second year. Effectively, they had a year prior to that, but their first year selling, and we're almost just under $1 million in race series alone, and it will only grow. It's great. There's competition out there, but it's just great that they've been able to commit to $925,000 in race series. There's no bonuses with that. That is actually stake money that is on offer.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really good, and like you said, they've only been here for 1 year now, so it is going to take that 12 months to 2 years for things to really gel and adjust, and adjustments I'm sure will be made in the future to come, and things will only get better at as you've noticed lately with APG and their announcements. It's not until competition comes into the mix that things do improve, so it will, and I'm sure Nutrien will certainly come to the fore.
Competition's healthy, and that is the one thing about it. But make sure you check out all those race incentives. They'll be up on the screen over the top of us as we go. Lochinvar Art made the news yesterday. Paul Courts reported that things not quite tracking where you'd like to with him. One, how is he, and give us an update out of your mouth.
Yeah, no, he's well in himself, Paul. He's probably 85% to where we thought he may have been at this time. He initially wasn't supposed to come back into work for another fortnight anyway, but we had scans done during the week just to see how he was going, and they were a little bit behind schedule, but it was nothing major. It wasn't a major concern. I think when you race at that level from the age of 2 to 5, with the speed and toughness that he showed, you're generally going to have issues somewhere along the line, and luckily we got to it early enough, and it's not going to be a life-threatening thing, so or a career-ending change. It's just time. That's the biggest thing. He's able to start water walking now. He can water walk 10 hours a day and swim 10 hours a day if he really wants to, so he can do that, stud duties, just not allowed to be on the track for another 2 months. So I'm sure if he gets up there to Luke's and he swims once a day and water walks once a day, by the time he gets up to speed, you can nearly cut a month off his training process when he does hit the track.
How does he come to hand as a horse? Like some horses, take a little while. Does he come to hand? And as he's getting older and more colty or more stallion, how does he actually come to hand?
Yeah, he's always taken a little while to come to hand. He doesn't seem. He used to always go out and come back pretty big. He looks pretty good at the moment. He's not real big at all, which is really good. He's not carrying a heap of excess weight, and he'll come to hand pretty well. He just generally, you can get him up to speed quick enough. It's just the racing that really tops him off. Like I said, he's sort of third and fourth starts are his best, and that's why a race like the Inters and them sort of things where you can race 3 times in 10 days would be great for him, because he just thrives on it and he is better with the racing. But he does come to hand pretty good at home.
Yep. There's talks of some races off, some races on. The Hunter Cup I see is still on, which I think that feather in your cap. When do you think you might be able to get him back to the races with the vets, as long as there's no setbacks from here on?
Yeah, providing everything goes well. I guess you're sort of looking start of February at the latest. We're August now, so he's got August, September off. It gives him October, November, December. There's 3 months straight away, giving that he's going to have a month to 6 weeks of strong water walking and swimming as well. So I think 3 months is enough for him. So I think, if we set it at the end of January, that's going to give us a fairly long while, and it's going to give him plenty of preparation under his belt also to not rush him and to get things right.
You excited?
I am a little bit, yeah, I am a bit. I sort of miss him, obviously, as you do. You miss him around the stables, and you miss not going to the races with him. I've never really been a huge fan of going to the races all the time, but certainly if you could take him 5 days a week, you'd be pretty happy. Yeah,
and there's a lot that goes with that too, and the emotion and the likes. Dave, from a Nutrien point of view, it won't be the last interview you and I are going to be doing, but I think from Nutrien, thank you very much for coming on board, being a brand ambassador. We're going to see the colours out there, trials, the colours will be worn all the time. You're going to be a bit like me, you're going to be a walking slogan, so that doesn't hurt, don't worry about that. And we have to wear hats, you and I. We don't have a lot of choice with the hat condition, so it's okay that way.
Exactly, yeah, no, we don't have much choice at all. We take our hats off and we look like a burnt matchstick, Paul, so we're in a bit of trouble there. But thanks to Nutrien, and if I can help in any way promote Nutrien and harness racing, I think it's a really good thing.
We want people to get involved with the Nutrien sales. As I said, the sales dates are out, and also the richest trotting sales series in the 2023 year, which is basically the trotters that go through this sales in the 2022 one, so which is very, very key. That's a lot of that's been driven through harassed trotters as well, and I know the guys at Nutrien would like to say big thank you to those. But $925,000 is the minimum stake money that will be on offer for that race series, so that is huge money. David Moran, thank you very much, mate.
Thanks, Paul.